Good afternoon. I am here with Slotty Magomi, CEO of Brics International Forum and CEO of Leading Ladies of Africa. Thank you so very much for making time to be with RT. Welcome.
Yes. Thank you, RT. Thank you for the opportunity. But let me just quickly on the introduction. I'm Chairperson and CEO of Leading Ladies of Africa. Within Brics for the last 10 years, I was the chairperson of Agribusiness Working Group, which is the engine of Brics actually. So now I'm doing more international, more than Brics. But thank you so much, and it's an honor to be here.
Oh my goodness. Well, you're quite busy, and we're so honored to have you.
Okay.
As you know, that the BRICS Summit is taking place here in Johannesburg, South Africa. The importance of creating a multipolar world has been one of the key discussions. What do you think of that, and do you think it is a necessary initiative?
Yeah, I think I've visited this subject before, and I must say, I say this is the time that's long overdue. People or countries have a right to actually start moving out of a box, expanding into a much bigger world that is out there, to embrace, modern, and to get out of the box, the usual box, and just reach out to the rest of the world out there. So it's exciting.
Absolutely,
times.
It is exciting, and more than 40 countries have expressed interest to join the BRICS. And the BRICS advancing multipolar would be something that is expected. What do you think would be the advantage and the drawback for that?
It is exciting also as well because more than 40 countries already as it is. BRICS constitute over 42% of the world's business. It constitutes of some of the most powerful countries economically. And to have more the merrier. Just open the ball so that countries can start. It just presents to the rest of the world, the business of the world, the communities of the world, an amazing opportunity of which we are very excited. That it actually has to happen during the chairmanship of South Africa. It is historic. Some of us who've been with BRICS for more than 10 years, to actually watch this, and then the young people take over on what has been built in the last, since 2010, 2011. It's just been absolutely amazing. Not knowing what to expect, but feeling that something amazing is happening is just absolutely amazing.
Well, fantastic. You've been working with the BRICS since the inception, and you know the ins and outs of it. What makes the BRICS unique compared to the other blocs that exist today?
What's exciting about the BRICS since we came in since the inception was the fact that for the first time in a very long time historically was that you have different worlds. You have, just looking at the BRICS countries themselves.
Absolutely.
It is such a diverse, platform. And for the first time to now actually even have the African continent coming on board, which has more than 50 countries, and to sit there with the application of more than 40 countries, and majority of them being Africans, considering that South Africa was the first African country to come on board. And we don't want to always be those people who are the only visitor on the table in the room.
Correct.
The more the merrier. We all know that Africa possesses most of the world's resources. Raw materials and everything. So now BRICS promises to be a platform of partnership, and that's what makes it more exciting.
Absolutely. And you brought up a very key point, which is ensuring the uniqueness and sovereignty of each BRICS members and potential joining members. What does a BRICS membership mean in terms of ensuring cooperation?
The membership presents an opportunity of breaking out of the limited scope. It presents an opportunity, gives you a platform to countries that are almost like more than 60% of the world's GDP. Culturally, economically, and otherwise, it is very exciting. It also means that there can never be a dominance of anybody feeling that they are more superior than the other. It is a partnership.
Correct.
It is different, it is unique, it's inclusive. So it's colorful, as you see now in Brics at the venues. Lots of color, lots of vibrant, it is just really an amazing, it presents an amazing opportunity of countries becoming self-reliant in terms of, local productions, local manufacturing. This morning, the whole morning, we were dealing with the Minister of Trade and Industry addressing manufacturing.
Correct.
So that's very exciting.
Yes.
There's a lot of, I cannot even mention the multiple opportunities out there.
Correct. Well, you touched on the importance of trading, and much has been said about de-dollarization, which has been the biggest hindrance for our continent, as we know, in making it impossible to trade across borders. Why does this idea matter to the global South, Africans, and just in general potential joining members of the BRICS?
We've always believed, really, that a lot of countries that actually produce raw materials don't even trade with their own, or don't even have their own currency, which does not make 1 + 1 doesn't make 2. So the excitement, really, it's not about saying you are taking anybody out and replacing, and it's simply facing the reality of saying, if I am the largest producer of platinum like South Africa is, why shouldn't I trade and sell that platinum to the international? Why shouldn't I mine, produce, finish, supply with my own local currency? So to beneficiate my own country. So that's part of the excitement, was that at least BRICS comes with that fresh look of saying the independence and sovereignty of countries, and it's long overdue.
Yes, and the introduction of a BRICS currency is also supposed to make trade possible for African states and not rely on the US dollar. What are your expectations for the future of this initiative?
Like I've just said, really, it's just questions of the reality. If you have a potential of 40 countries coming together and trading together, it is only fair that the countries that would be dominant in the economic sense, in production, in minerals, beneficiates with a currency that actually is used by the majority. And there's nothing wrong with other currencies, as long as the currencies, there's no currency that is imposed on countries that produce raw materials and minerals to then trade on anybody else's currency. There's room for everybody. It shouldn't just be that we're going to push the rand because we have the gold and the platinum on anybody. There should be free trade, is what it should be.
Yes, and Africa's past, especially colonial past, has been the biggest hindrance on African countries' foreign policies. How do you think BRICS will facilitate in making foreign policies, African foreign policies, to its potential allies and members more conducive for trade?
I think BRICS is more, as you know, it's more business, it's more inclusive, it's not infringing on anybody's policies. So it's about the sovereignty, as we've said, it's about people determining their own fate, people deciding on how they would like to trade, which currency they prefer to use. And it's just all about fairness and saying Africa's time has arrived. It's long overdue. It's hundreds of years of Africa hemorrhaging and bleeding, and then Africans being the West, Africa being labeled the dark continent, Africa being labeled Africa, you know, like
Yes.
an orphanage, a big orphanage. And I think now Africa, to see Africa, especially young Africans, coming out and embracing the rest of the other world and saying, let's just be one colorful world, trade, work together, improve the lives of our own people locally. Let charity begin at home. That's what it is.
Yes, and on that note, modern Pan-Africanism, how do you think that can promote peace and development on the continent?
We come from an era of adults where conflicts and all these other issues, but I'm happy to see that the younger generation just want to be. They don't want the adults to impose. We're proud to say currently the organizing and the running of the Brics this time around has a lot of young blood in it with fresher ideas, all adults can do is sit and provide the wisdom and support to the current new dispensation. So the young generation is like, let us out there and give us a chance. You sit back, give us a chance to run, because we have to then leave a legacy as the older generation. We have to help the younger ones. If we can do that without the pattern of conflicts and suffering, and being able to sit around the table and negotiate and resolve issues without pain, that now comes to people who don't even know what the conflicts are about.
Yes, and you mentioned that the BRICS is making it conducive for young Africans to be a part and be at the conversation table. How does cultural exchange between the BRICS member states has helped in promoting Africa and creating spaces where not just economic exchanges, but cultural exchanges could actually propel Africa?
Wow, cultural exchanges have always been very fascinating, and they've always been a part. When we go the route of cultural exchanges, you find that all we are at the end of the day, one common thing or denominator amongst human beings is that we're all humans. We all probably like the same thing. We laugh at the same jokes. We find, so the cultural exchanges, from everything from music to art to, whenever I'm in Russia, I see so much of my own culture. I see the way Russians treat their babushkas. It's the same way we do. And I see such commonalities. The same way that I go around the African continent and actually realize that we're the same people. There's some tweaking that somebody did here and there, which is good and it brings in the color in itself. But I look forward to a more robust cultural exchange, from sports to arts to just start bringing the generation together that will grow up not even being aware of issues of race or anything like that, just saying culture, economic, how do we marry them together? How do we just live and widen the circle of the human species?
Yes, absolutely. And, women play a critical role in ensuring these cultural norms and traditions are passed down. What are the key aims of Leading Ladies of Africa, and how can such organizations utilize the BRICS to further the cause?
Once again, somebody once said, and I quote, "Never has there ever been a time where there is a need for that which is called woman as there is now." And nobody says mother's mother. Mothers know they face conflicts because they bring up children who sometimes have different opinions and views in the same house, and they manage to bring. So this is the time, if there's any other time, where we think that women should have a bigger space on the table, because we believe that probably certain things, men, yes, bring that big flavor of being the man. We grew up from where the men are the head of the family, the protector of the family. But at the same time, you know that if you have 12 children as a mother, whenever there's a conflict, the first person, it's a family meeting, mother has to be there or grandmother has to be there. And I think the world currently needs that, because when women disagree, it doesn't take time to reach a point where first, if it escalates to something like your two kids fighting or something, a mother would always worry more about, let's resolve this to a point where it ends. And I think sometimes the men that we bring up as mothers, that we teach that it's about defending and being strong and masculine, we need as mothers to put a little bit of a touch of the soft part that would say, where are we going? Who is a winner when there is conflict? I mean, there never is a 100% winner.
Yes.
So as a mother, we need to come in, bandage the wounds, and try and move on and bring peace into this world.
Absolutely. And how can multipolar summits such as BRICS facilitate and help in attaining the goals of nonprofit organizations on the continent that address such issues as the ones you just perfectly and clearly articulated? And I absolutely agree with you. Women always broker peace. We just need to have a seat at the table so that we could be a critical part of the conversation and the way forward. If you can just tell us a little bit about the importance of BRICS facilitating meeting nonprofit goals.
When the BRICS Business Council was formulated a couple of years ago, it was just all men. It was almost like a boys' club. But the amazing part is that it wasn't because men had a problem with women being at the table. It was probably because women sometimes you step back from the culture of respecting the men being the head. Sometimes women forget to actually say, hey, wait a minute, actually, I could help you there. I could add some value in there. Can you open up? Because I work with an organization that's leading ladies, and yet 60%, 50%, 60% of the support is actually from men. Behind the leading ladies, there's lots of very strong, supportive men. I have an amazing partner that's been with me, business partner, who yesterday when he says, can I get accreditation to the event? And he says, but even if I'm not there, I know that my leader, it doesn't, not most people or countries, says as long as my leader is up there representing me, it's okay with me. Yeah. And this is a business partner who's a medical doctor, a businessman, but he has no problem in stepping back and saying, you lead that, I'm right behind you. As I came in here, you saw, it is a man that came with me to make sure that, are you okay? Okay, while you are doing the interview, can I quickly go cut my hair? So it's not about the competition, as I've said before. It's about working together. But I think it's just a little bit more, it needs a little bit more women to try and neutralize the situation in a positive way of saying, let's work together as a team. Not for anyone to use the other against the other, but to say, together we can achieve more.
And you've been really great in providing us some of the most amazing information. What do you want to happen once the summit wraps up? What are your hopes and your dreams moving forward for BRICS?
What I would like to see really is the reflection that is out there now, the buzz, the unity, the openness, the warmth, should be that we leave a legacy to the younger generation. We can only still do so much. But as I say, as we work together, the older generation, let's say the older BRICS, coming and saying, we are here for whatever wisdom, whatever support that the younger generation needs, and them coming to us as well and saying, how did you, because together, what has been achieved in the last few years, if together we sit around the table and say, okay, how did you get this? Where to from here? You did this for the past 10 years. How do we then make sure that we achieve results, that BRICS does not just become a talk shop like most conferences and summits, that we walk out of there with resolutions, and that the next BRICS summit produces says these are the results since the last thing. This is what has happened. That we're not just talking on beautiful paper and writing and everybody goes home and said, I was in a conference, it was good to see old friends and all. But that we should be more result orientated. It should never be about anybody think this is mine. The most selfish way of handling any organization is feeling that I'm now here, I'm going to sit with the information that could help the advancement, or we are the new ones here, we don't need the older ones. That's when progress gets stifled. But if you come and say, by the way, how did you handle this then? Or we went from point A to B, so that the next conference is about now results. Let's show what happened in the last few years. So mine is just to really, the exciting part is seeing Africa and other countries coming on board. Seeing some of the women from other countries like Egypt and other, leading the pack out there, it just makes me feel like, wow, it was all worth it. It's been worth it. Not for me, but the ones that come after us and the ones that will follow afterwards.
Well, thank you so very much for paving the way, Madame Swazi. It was a pleasure to have you here on RT International. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much for having me.